Okay, so we are going to build a Rama Works keyboard today. And before unboxing that, we are going to finish lubing this switch. Hopefully I can finish lubing the switches really fast, so we don't waste time for building the keyboard. Yeah, actually let me see if I can bring a good lighting. Okay, yeah, I think after just turning off the window, everything looks fine now. still finished lubing this batch of switches. I know, sometimes lubing switches takes a lot of time. But I think it's just the last step for this switch lubing, so I hope I can finish it in, I don't know, 10 minutes? Yeah, like 2 stamps per minute should be doable. But how are you tonight or this afternoon? I don't know, depends on your time zone. Maybe it's morning for you. Yeah, I cannot wait to open the Rama M65-B. I think people are waiting that for quite a while. I don't know if it's this model or maybe different model, but you know Rama. Unless they had injection mode, it probably take more than a year to fulfill some item, because they take unlimited order and they are really big vendor, actually designer for themselves as well. And their boards are just gorgeous. So no wonder how many people got in Rama boards and try to wait for that. Last 6. Yeah, after this board, I think I will have like 2 days of time off for any keyboard builds until Monday. Pretty relaxed. But I still need to figure out my back nickel. Like the plate is so tight, it ends up making this keyboard not really pleasant to type. Yeah, a lot of switches seems like really sluggish. And I think it's really the plate problem. So I already contact Canon Key. Hopefully they can have a good solution for that. If they have wait for, I don't know, a month or 2 to send me some replacement plate, I probably will give up on this keyboard. Yeah, it's a good price. It's a good aluminum O-ring gasket mount keyboard, but if the QC of the plate is so bad, it's really just like lottery to know whether you can get a good one or bad one. And looks like I'm not the only one. Yesterday on the stream and also today, last night, when I chat in CanonK server, there are also some people mentioning the same issue. So not like one-off issue. Okay, switches are done. Now we can finally unbox. Yeah, let's open the accessory first. This is the accessory for, yeah, let's cover the address. We have internal weight, we have internal dampener, we have solder roll PCB. Okay, so let's do it one by one. Yeah, I like how the Rama packaging is. Let's see what do we need. Okay, so this package, the Rama Works switch puller. I heard it looks cool, but it's just not durable. We have the Rama Works 1.5 meter USB-C cable, which I don't really need since I have some cable. Yeah, I just didn't bring my quad cable here. What's the next? Okay, some tools. This is probably for standoffs. And this is another tools. Yeah, we will figure out how to use these tools, but definitely need it. And we have a Rama keys. Yeah, we're going to use that. Why not, right? And we have Clint sent me the Durock V2 Stabilizers. And we have the internal dampener, which we are going to use this time. And I will probably try the internal weight later, off stream maybe. Let's get the internal dampener out. So we have the internal dampener and also some screws. Yeah, let's use that once we build this keyboard. And we have the feet. We have the muter, the mute pad, which is basically the silicone layer as of gasket. And finally, we have the PCB with daughter board, which we are going to have test first. Cool, that's a good box of accessory. And finally, our keyboard. The M65-B, 65% keyboard. Hopefully I don't drop anything. And we have the keyboard itself. It's not very heavy. We also have, let's see, what's this layer? The plate, yes. So this is the mute mount. This is not going to be like an integrated plate. So should be good typing feeling overall. Yeah, let's take a look. Really nice. A polycarbonate iced colorway of Rama M65-B. Not really heavy, but once we are installing the internal weight, it's going to be like super cool. Yeah, so let's kind of put it probably just here. No problem. Yeah, I'm just unboxing everything. And this is the plate. Wow, it even has some so it's the PVD brass weight, I believe. Yeah, very shiny. I like the PVD. Like, it definitely looks good when you pick from the top. So we have all the standoffs that we are going to screw together with the PCB. And before that, we are going to loop our stabilizers as well as test the PCB, because we are not going to build a keyboard without a working PCB. So testing PCB, the first thing first. So we have the daughter board, which is basically unified daughter board. And we have the M65-B 65% keyboard. I believe this keyboard, this PCB also compatible with does it compatible with Iron 165? Yeah, maybe. Okay, let's connect, and definitely the shiny part. Okay, let's flip it and start doing the keyboard test. Yeah, I heard about like the compatibility for Iron 165 PCB, and only some Rama works. I think people are trying to get a hot swap PCB for Iron 165. That's why they were wondering if the Rama works, PCB works. And from the layout looking, this probably works. And since we are going to use the, let's see what the layout we are going to have. We're going to go the step caps lock and the regular backspace. I mean the backspace as of long full backspace. Yeah, that's the only option we have. And now we are going to test. So the full backspace, the number row, and the current mode is the perky RGB like testing mode. That's why it just alternates the red, the green, and the blue. I will see if I can disable that, or maybe it doesn't matter because I'm not going to connect that before I finally finish the build. So let's just test the PCB, then we can see from there. Definitely on the shiny side. And also the Rama PCB were made by Wilbur. Wilbur is a very famous PCB designer. He designed the PCB for various of keyboards, most known for keycaps. And I think I have also the PCB for Salvation. Yeah, and also this is like 7U. Okay, we're going to screw this starter board later on, but for now, we just need to lube the stabilizers. And this is feet we're going to put later as well. Yeah, I believe all these screws are for, well, probably better to look up. So the soft gasket goes between PCB and plate, yes. So that's not, yeah, that's actually silicone layer. So this layer goes between the plate and the PCB, and the outer side was sandwiched between the case, and they are used as gasket. And it definitely does mute the sound and also provides much better typing experience. So we are going to use the 7U and also 3 stabilizers. So we don't need the full set. And I like all the Durock V2 stabilizers because once I finish the work, it's hard to get the wire popping out. I've been seeing like my client having like wire popping out for Durock V1 stabilizers. So from now on, I try not to provide that as an option because it's so much trouble for client to figure out how to pop back the wire. It's better just get the insurance from beginning. Yeah, I will definitely see how this sounds and feels. Yeah, I think I've experienced various of gasket mount keyboard. The best one, I would still say it's the Vega and the Polarized. They are pretty much the same. And for the Sync 6.5 V2, I think it's okay. It's not like you can feel the flex on the PCB or plate, but it definitely generates good sounds. And for Rama works, I actually entered the Rama Cara, and I don't know when they will ship, but definitely inject mode has different quality as this polycarbonate. Yeah, actually people thought polycarbonate is plastic, so they should be pretty cheap, but in reality, milling or CNC some polycarbonate is actually costly because it's very easy to have 40 parts for the polycarbonate. So you end up spending much more on the process rather than the material. First linear, you chose the good linear. Ink Black V2 sound really nice and they are pretty smooth. But the only problem is like the batch, I mean not your specific batch, but in general, any Ink Black V2 batch are not very consistent within the batch. So some switch are like more scratchy than others, but still it's better than like other switches in general. I mean not as smooth as JWK linear switch, but from the typing sound, it's definitely a good one. Yeah, milling PC, I know. I actually work with friends who is actually a designer for keyboard, and he definitely mentioned like it's really easy to scratch the PC or even bend the PC or maybe the PC warp. So either fix that or they have to redo. And for aluminum, it's definitely much easier, but the material cost on aluminum is definitely different than the PC. So choose your own preference rather than focus on the price, because yeah, for injection mode they are cheap, but you can see a lot of machining marks or even the just like the defect is acceptable. It's like you cannot save half of the money to get the same quality. It's not how the market works. And I'm super excited to see how my PC Bear 65 will turn out. I will get that next Thursday. Cool, so the 205G0 for stabilizers. And I'm going to use some dielectric grease for the wire, and then I will put them onto the PCB. Yeah, I'm still using this keyboard, so actually the quality of the casting paint or the casting process for aluminum is better than my expectation, but definitely not like you can get the same quality as anno when you touch it. Yeah, so everything has a price. The question is like whether you are okay with that. So for the keycap set today, I'm going to use my GMK Bingsu on that. I don't think I've used Bingsu for a while, so I definitely see this is a good keyboard to try Bingsu. Thank you for the sub. Means a lot for me. Yeah, I find whenever I work with the stabilizers, it's always good to have plugging the butt approach. And even if you put them onto the board and you find they are not perfect, you can still have the chance to do that. So that's the beauty of plugging the butt approach. You are not set stone with the smoothness of the stabilizers. You can always work with them later. Oh, it's interesting. So this 65% keyboard actually go different way. Actually, I don't know like if we call this south facing or north facing, but this is not usually the way. Yeah, I also don't understand or maybe don't know what's the difference between either this approach, this route, or the other way. Okay, I need to get my screwdriver. Be right back. Let me see if I still have any charge on this screwdriver. Thank you for hosting stream from this one. Okay. It's interesting, I remember I don't have any battery on this screwdriver the last time I used it. It mystery start getting more battery? Okay, no, not this time anymore. But it doesn't look like I'm getting too much to screw anyway. And I always forget to charge, cause I just don't have the cable always available. Oh, interesting. I have cable right now. I also have one more spot for charging it. Let's charge it. Okay, not this one. Okay, it charges. So the next one, now I'm waiting for my Kara and also my client Kara deliver. And I will experiment with different switches for sure. In general, all the Rama boards were pretty nice from the looking, but I know the old ones, the integrated plate were not really nice sounding for sure. Like the U80 Sequence 1. Is that the integrated plate or not? Yeah, but at least the Sequence 2 were using muted plate. So definitely getting improvement. Yeah, let's see if we can use this one while charging. Okay, that's a good way. I don't need to wait until it's charged. And also now I remember I'm charging it. Do you also have problems on tracking what things have to be charged? Yeah, now I have like my screwdriver need to be charged, my my watch need to be charged, phone for sure, and now I have my car need to be charged. Actually, I forgot to charge my car now. Yeah, speaking of that, I think my car only has 30% of battery right now. I don't know if it can survive for another drive. I have to charge it later. And at some point I also have my glosses need to be charged, which is super interesting. Yeah, I charge it overnight. Turns out I don't need to charge that too much, so I kind of overcharge it. And need to charge my Roomba. Like Roomba knows how to charge itself. Yeah, so many. Too many, I would say. So I have two Roomba. One is for like sweeping and the other is for like mopping, but I think the second one just refused to charge. So I feel like it's just dead forever. And I don't even know. I think I already bought it for more than 2 years. So it's probably already out of warranty. And I don't know if I want to fix it or not, because every time when I try to use that, it's just not working very well. They kind of like go to the random stop spot. And not sure if it covers the whole area I want it to cover. And it refused to work time to time. I don't even know if it's because of the battery or because it didn't know where to go. So definitely not something I would recommend. And also they started doing subscription service for your cleaning robot. I don't know, why do you need subscription for your cleaning robot? Yeah, but subscription seems like a trend for people to move to, because it's much easier to charge people like $10 each month than charge people like $200 at once. Even people will use your service for more than 2 years and end up paying more. They are more okay with charging each month than charge one time. Okay, let's do some plug-in butt technique. Then we can do some the step keys testing. Okay, good part before testing is, okay, I got in the wrong hole. So we still have the chance to fix it. How come I did that? I don't even remember when's the last time I did in the wrong direction. It's not very easy to mess up either. But still, it's definitely safe to fix it. For sure. Yeah, the first time you do something your own, you never know whether you will make mistake or not. I definitely see I make mistake when I build my first keyboard. Not only once. Huh. How come I did twice? That's not usual me. But at least this is always easy to fix. And also definitely best to fix before it's too late, which means if you already soldered the board together, you're going to not be able to fix that unless you desolder the whole board. So this is always easy to do that. Yeah, I guess it's also the problem of, not problem, but like not very user friendly for Durock stabilizers when you can basically insert without, okay, what did I say? Yeah, you can always insert without found that problem because it just allows bidirection. So sometimes it's not user error, it's actually design error. Yeah, you don't want to have a like component that you can go either direction and only find out until you finish building something. So at which point I definitely see Lego did very well on building instructions. And it's really hard to mess up, and they have different color code for the components at each step. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you don't really know until the last minute, and maybe it just when you happen to finish everything, then fixing is definitely harder. Okay, I need to wash my hand. My hand got dirty by doing this part. Yeah, be right back. Okay, yeah. Are you going to buy another keyboard in the future? I'm looking at the F1 from GM. Let me check if I get the chance to join their raffle for certain server. Yeah, let me check for quick. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, anyway, I have my friend who will tell me about that. Let's continue doing. Don't mind the kick out. Yeah, always join the raffle. It's really hard to win at anyway. Yeah, I think most of the Rama boards were pretty nice. The only thing is you have to wait for a while. But once you get that, it's definitely a good return, no matter you like the board or you want to sell the board. But most of the time, you will like the board. So I think a lot of people trying to buy two, and by the time it arrives, they try both, or maybe they just compare the color, or maybe compare the keycaps that they have with the color, and decide to sell the other one. I just feel like it's a little bit too risky. You never know if the market still likes keyboard at that point. And also Dennis is the collaboration between Rama and Iron. And Iron had a good taste of keyboard, so I would trust that. The only thing is I don't really have a good usage of the left column macro keys. But now I realize this is just the aesthetic option rather than the functional stuff. So it's pretty hard to tell. Your preference could change over time. Maybe the one you bought previously is not at your taste anymore, or maybe you will develop FOMO when you start changing your preference. I think I definitely FOMO a little bit on the Zenith. I mean, now I understand the aesthetic about that. So you use that? Wow. Yeah, I don't really use that. I guess it's because like for Mac OS, it doesn't really have the function by default. I mean, most of the time you just use those like, actually it has the touch bar now, so no wonder why people don't really need to use that. So this is the mute pad, and we are going to put on the plate. And the next thing is, let's put the standoff. So standoff is from this kit. Basically for standoff, you are going to put one standoff in each location. And then you have two kinds of screws. Do you? Oh, interesting. Maybe the other screws are for the bottom. Let's see. You map the functions to F-row for client utilities. Oh, yeah, definitely depends on what kind of work people are doing. Like as programmer, I definitely find some IDE neat, while some other IDE doesn't really need. So totally different. Okay, so one side we're going to use the screws, not the countersink screws, to add all the standoffs. And on the other side, we'll use the countersink. Smaller consulting firm. Yeah, I think once you finalize your usage on the keyboard and get a good amount of macro or maybe function, it will be super powerful. It's like on the Mac OS, people know how to use all the shortcuts, then you can get pretty smart about things, like switching tab, do paste without format. So it really depends on how you optimize for your workflow, and I find all the custom keyboard can definitely satisfy better needs than the traditional keyboard. Like now I can do one click to mute on Zoom. That's pretty useful for me. Hardware, software, DBA data, wow, a lot. That's really versatile. So I just do my own software engineer stuff, which doesn't really require very special skills. Just learn as you go. Yeah, data side is definitely something that I don't really know of. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I work with data engineers or data scientists, but all I know is I need to provide something they ask me to do, and then I just don't know the rest. Okay, make sure we align everything together so we get the mute pad in the right location. And then we can start adding our countersink screws. Yeah, I'm supposed to look at the manual, but I think I figured this out since I already built so many keyboards similar to this one. And sometimes the manual doesn't really make it clear as well. It's like after you've used iPhone for 10 years, you never need to open a help page to know how to use iPhone, but if you happen to swap to Android at some point, you may not know how to do a lot of things like screenshot. Actually, I still don't know how to do screenshot on different Android phone. They just have so many different options on different Android. Cool, so we got this one. Very nice. Nice looking for sure. And the next thing we are going to test is the stabilizers key, so we don't want to solder that, then realize there's something going on. You also want to make sure like it works doing the remaining work. Yeah, with the standoff, it's just like much safer to insert switch without worrying about making the plate and PCB split up. So it should be easy. And okay, so the PVD material is really easy to get the fingerprint, and the way to remove that is using some microfiber. Yeah, let me grab some microfiber to clean that. Yeah, I think I will leave more fingerprints on that. I guess I'm not care about how that looks, I'm just care about my fingerprint not get lit, so you can unlock my phone. Just kidding. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit OCD, so I'm myself try to keep this as clean as possible, but yeah, sometimes it's just so hard to do that. Okay, so I'm getting some chocolate for my girlfriend at the same time. And also I have some for myself. Testing switches. And the 7-inch spacebar. I don't think I've ever used this 6.25U spacebar from Bingsu, so I don't even know if that works or not. Okay, let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, no rattle. Good to go. Now let's add all the remaining switches. Yeah, looped in black switches were pretty nice sounding for sure. Yeah, the only thing is the ink switch a little bit larger housing than the regular switches or switch standards, so it end up like harder to push into the plate, but once they push in they are pretty secured. So you want to hear the clip sound whenever you push something in. But also make sure you don't have a bent pin, because bent pin is so easy to make a mess when you are soldering. Okay, let me try to put something under so I can have better protection when I insert switch. Thank you for follow. Yeah, you definitely sent enough. I already looped 70, and this keyboard probably needs 66 switches based on my estimate from all the switches. Yeah, welcome to my stream, my channel. I'm building keyboard for myself and clients, and I think I don't really have enough keyboard for myself to build every week, so I definitely want to take more client builds and try different things. But I think I already built like more than 50 keyboard to date. Just by the last post I have, it's already 20 keyboards. And I myself have definitely like more than 10 keyboards, and I rebuild them time to time. So definitely built a lot of time. When will KBD 67 Lite come back in stock? That's a $1 million question. I think the R2, so KBD 67 Lite R2 finished GB like a month ago, and I think it's scheduled to deliver in 3 months, around that time. So in general, you probably will see people getting theirs in July time, and at the time KBD definitely have some in stock unit for that. Yeah, I hope GB just getting faster. But yeah, most of GB you have to wait for like 6 months or a year until you get those, unless they are injection mode, for example the KBD 67 Lite. Also the Rama Kara, and I think Rama's historically also selling for some extras, but it will be super hard and people are fighting a lot together, and so many bots. That's what I had feeling from Rama works, because people know like other people are waiting for more than a year until getting their unit, so definitely willing to spend some more time than the market price. I mean, not market price, the retail price. So any in stock drop like that will attract a lot of bots, which are pretty much backed by flippers. Yeah, and still it's really hard to develop some technique to prevent bots, because bots are written by good programs as well. So bot and anti-bot is always the same in the hyped industry. I definitely see people boarding them, boarding the sneakers, boarding the graphic cards, boarding the keyboards. But still, except or besides boarding, we have enough demand to drive the supply, and also enough demand to make the supply not enough. So people were blaming bots for a lot of things that they cannot get, but in reality, if you only get those surprise drop or maybe limited drop, you're probably not very patient, because the impatience in this hobby will cost you a lot of money. And if you're willing to wait for GB, you can get pretty good options. Maybe a lot of people don't know the GB for GMK is around $100 because they always see $300 in the aftermarket. Okay, these are the fresh switches I just lubed. Okay, I don't know why these switches are easier to insert. Maybe I just know how to insert, or maybe enough switch already support the PCB and the plate, so it gives much less gap to insert the switches. Yeah, if you're patient, a great way in this hobby. And for me, I'm not using board anymore. I mean, I never use boards. The first time I entered the hobby, I thought something I can do, I won't say board, but just like writing some script to check the stock. But I realized checking stock, even I can know when the stock comes back, I won't be able to get back online and try to grab that thing. So it's not the speed of getting to know like whether something goes back in stock. It's about everyone like this, enough time for people to know something in advance and they can fight for that thing. So I just like try to be fast fingers rather than know how to do the other way. So I think my manual first come first serve record were pretty good recently, which I definitely get more than enough. Sometimes I feel like I'm grabbing something that other people may benefit more than me. Like this one, I don't know. I definitely don't try to grab that in the first minute. But yeah, on the second minute I get that, and then it's sold out in 4th minute. I just want to have a try and give recommendation to new people if they haven't to have the chance next time. And to be honest, I'm not super impressive by the technical, mostly just because of how inconsistent the plate is. Cool. So we got all the switches in, and I really like how the stabilizers were pretty much same as the switches. Yeah, so you can see it's like a mirror, reflect the light, the camera and the microphone. And this is the bottom of the PCB. Let me just quickly look through to see if there's any bent pin and try to get that before soldering. Yeah, should be good. And we go the split backspace, no, the regular backspace and step caps lock. Yeah, this is definitely a nice matching. Okay, so before we are going for soldering session, let's do some cleanup. We don't need a keyboard anymore for this session. Probably also better to put outside the case. And all the tools that we don't really need right now. So we need a good fan to protect my house. Okay, let me take my paintbrush back. Okay, we have the solder station. And the solder iron. Yeah, so tonight I will try my other first come first serve fight for the F1 8X from GM, and we will see. I know. So by looking at the information they have, we have all kinds of like winky black, A stock, big stock, winkless black, winky silver, winkless silver. We even have navy. Okay, so many units. I don't know which one I should try. Well, it's not likely I can get that easily, so not a really big deal. Cool, so let's start soldering on this one. Probably better to have this protection. Let's get some filter on the fan. And hopefully I can do this quickly, so we don't need to, hear my water sounds or the sound like underwater. Yeah, always make sure you have a good fan. And for this one, I don't need to secure the corner first because it's already being done by the standoff. I can just do the normal soldering order. Let's go by one. For something that doesn't have standoff, you'll probably have to do that to make sure the corner were secured first. Yeah, all the wheel bar PCB were pretty easy to solder. I mean, by easy means it didn't really make any trouble when you're soldering. Like the solder is very easy attached to the pin. And heat is very easy to transfer onto the switch pin. And some bad PCB, you will definitely feel like it's really hard to get the heat transferred to the solder itself. So you end up taking longer time for each pin. And actually it's more dangerous for the PCB as well. That's why people said they can do desolder and solder again for a rebuild on wheel bar PCB a lot of times. I think that's like the good quality. And that's the reason why the wheel bar PCB was always selling for like 60 bucks to 80 bucks. Because for other 30 bucks PCB you may end up using like twice or 3 times. But for wheel bar PCB you can use like 5, 10 or even 20 times. I mean if you want. Sometimes you have to pay the premium to get a better experience. That's why it's called premium. And the better experience definitely gives you less headache, especially in a hobby that you want to get fun from it rather than get the, I won't say trouble, but just like a lot of friction. Nice. Yeah, I think the technology evolved a lot. All the sound filtering, or sound noise cancellation were pretty good. Yeah, I still need to figure out how to plug in my music internally rather than externally from the microphone. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out. Maybe I'm so bad. And also similar goes to the solder. You want to spend some money on the good solder so it's easy to work with. And like $5 solder versus $20 solder, like you can still use for, I know I've been using this solder from beginning and probably built more than 50 keyboards today, and I still haven't finished using that. So the price difference is not much if you consider how many keyboards you can build with and how much fun you can enjoy from getting all the keyboard built. So definitely spend some more money on your tools if you like the hobby. Voice meter. Okay, I will check out that. Yeah, I'm definitely not a pro on streaming, so I don't know like how can I improve on stream. But yeah, I will check out voice meter. Yeah, I just don't know why the OBS itself doesn't really have a good interface or maybe functionality like that. Because when I use the Twitch stream client, it actually does that. But Twitch stream client was so basic. It didn't really have a lot of functionality. So I definitely moved to Streamlabs OBS. But then I just don't find this mixing my music with my voice stuff. So really strange. Yeah, I tried it. I just don't know. Maybe I just like totally blind on that option. Maybe it's just right there and I didn't explore. And every time I want to try, it's when I start stream. Then I just give up on trying. Yeah, I feel like every time I try to stream, it's always a little bit in rush. I never had a chance to sit behind and do countdown for the stream. It's always like, okay, now I need to stream. Time's up. Oh, I haven't got this thing. I haven't got that thing. Oh my god, I delay again. I have to figure out this one, that one. And let's put on the starting screen first while I'm figuring out other things. So I never got a chance to really relax on the streaming start. Yeah, it feels like to me the streaming starting time is like my deadline to live out from my regular life. Yeah, it's definitely confusing but also very powerful. I think I cannot get a lot of things without it, so I'm definitely appreciative of that. And also, I don't think I spend or invest enough time or effort to improve my learning or knowledge on Streamlabs OBS anyway. So I don't blame anyone else. It's definitely on me to provide better streaming experience, to figure out how that works. But yeah, sometimes if I cannot figure out, maybe that's how other people also had trouble with. Okay, let's test the PCB before we yeah, you can see the ink switches were like black smoke, transparent. So it actually looks really cool when you have the black backlight. Okay, so everything works. We are done on this part. Now we can turn off the noise cancellation. Get back all the normal sound. And also collect, oh sorry, kick my camera. And get everything out of the sink. Okay, wash hand another time after soldering. So let's put the PCB, the mute, the case back onto the thing. I'm going to build this all together soon. Okay, last piece, which is the favorite part. Finally assembled together. Yeah. So I have my hand clean. And we have the case. So first thing first, the feet. Yeah, we have the special made Rama long feet from top and bottom, which is actually really good design if you don't know. Because when you type on the top and bottom, and it transfers the pressure onto the feet. And it also looks nice. And to install that, you want to install the side first, so you can have the even distribution, rather than you go like, you know, from one side to the other side, then all the way. It may get longer if you press too much. The other one, the same procedure. Okay, so the other one, interesting. Should I put the feet later? Yeah, I think it's probably fine. Like, what the other screws do we have? It's really only the 4 screws left on the daughter board. And this is like the screws that we are going to disassemble the case. So I think that's pretty much the final one. Yeah, definitely. You know what? Like last time I built my girlfriend a keyboard, and my girlfriend looked at my stream and finally understand why my clients love watching the keyboard build on stream versus just in general like build. Like, she definitely see how everything come along on the stream, make it more excited. Okay, so we are going to unscrew the case. Not this one, the other one. And also I like the Rama screws a lot. It looks super cool. Yeah, everything Rama makes were pretty nice. If you consider how other competitor on the market, it's really hard to get similar quality. Yeah, I'm not trying to speak good words for Rama without trying out enough boards, but yeah, I had a lot of other boards built. In general, I definitely see how Rama boards were pretty easy to install without any good instruction or bad instruction. Yeah, some like not the last keyboard. So I built one keyboard with 20-page instruction. Yes, 20 page. And I end up forgetting one step in one of the page. And until I realized, I find I have to desolder the whole board to do it. So it's not like I can just snip in one step. I have to just desolder. Okay, we have 4 more screws. Yeah, it's really like how to end the standoff, and the standoff is actually required step. And I definitely work a little bit late during that night. So it make my it definitely make my mind not very clear on that night. So with 20-page instruction, it's like really hard to keep everyone on the same page. So definitely when you design things, the user experience is very important. That's why AI03 is trying to make things better and better over time. And to be honest, the Vega build guide is a little bit too much. Cool, so we got and all 4 screws out. So let's put the case on a safe place, which is just on my bed. It's definitely safe. Now what we are going to do is install the daughter board right here, and we should have 4 more small screws. Yeah, the only thing is like they don't really give extra screws. So it's possible you miss screws, then you don't really get a chance to build the same keyboard on the day if you are missing screws. So I just wish they can get like 1 extra screw for each one. That's my only advice. But otherwise, I definitely find it's pretty fun to build Rama keyboard. And for polycarbonate, you don't want to over tighten, especially if it doesn't have a metal in thread. So as long as secure in place, it's enough. So we have the USB-C port aligned. Yeah, so far I don't really lose any screws. But if you lose screws, it's definitely something bad for your day to build. So Rama dampening. And this is Rama word. I don't really know which direction should I go, but they are basically the same. I mean, direction means like left or right. It doesn't really make any difference. Okay, another screw, 3 screws. So this is the internal dampener, sound dampener, which definitely helped the acoustic by reduce some hollowness. And I think the special shape of the internal dampener were pretty innovative way. Like you don't really need to fill in the whole board with some case foam dampening part. So this is what looks from the bottom. Really nice. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is dropping the PCB. So put in the daughter board first. Yeah, and next time if you want to do any work, remember you have a daughter board. And should secure in place. And get the board top case. Yeah, let's see if we have everything in place that we can close the top case. And another way to do is we can put the top case here and we can try to, actually the top case might be this direction. We can drop in this one first, then close the bottom. Yeah, so in this way, you can get it closed easier. The 6 big screws. Are there no screws that mount the plate to the top case? No, because this is called mute mount or gasket mount, if you were saying more common words. So basically what happened is, like the top case and the bottom case is like a sandwich, and the mute, if you can see, like the mute pad between the PCB and the plate stick out a little bit, and the bottom case and top case sandwich the mute to make it like work together. So it's actually a very good mounting system. It makes the keyboard not like having the screws onto the plate, which generate, like, you know, the screw sound. And in this case, all the contact is just the mute mat with the case. And the mute mat itself will definitely dampening the sound and the vibration. So it will generate much less noise. If you were considering like any screws contact with the case will generate a sound. I mean, it's probably not worse, not that bad for a PC case, because PC doesn't really generate metal noise. But yeah, if you're considering a aluminum case, and any aluminum case with the screws will have that problem. So definitely transform from the traditional top mount into this new mute mount. Okay, so we still have 6 screws. Yeah, I don't think we need to, let's see. time you need to open the case again is pretty much when you try to swap the internal dampener, sun dampener, into internal weight, vice versa. Otherwise, this is pretty secured together. And still the same thing, don't over tighten. As long as you feel the resistance, it's fine. And even if you are afraid of not secured together, the mute mount should make it pretty easy to work with. Cool. So the last step is to put the keycaps on. Keycaps, final step. Love that. So the keycaps we put on today is the GMK Bingsu. I always find Bingsu looks good on a PC case, but I don't personally have a PC case, so I definitely want to use this chance to get a good feeling. And also we can use this Rama keycaps, because for the Escape P, it's actually the accent color with white background and the black text, so it's actually pretty good fitting. By the way, did you get this Rama keycaps from this keyboard purchasing, or maybe other keycaps? Because I don't really know if this Rama will match with these keycaps, but it was included. Nice. I really like the Rama keycaps. And it's definitely a nice touch for this keyboard. Okay, I will put on the last. It's what they make this Rama board. GMK Delta. Yeah, GMK Delta is a very exclusive keycap set, like not many sold on the GB, and also very hard to get on the extra sale, just because not many people realized how good they are. And that's even before the hobby become a hot. So definitely a good choice. Yeah, the teal color, I know. I actually entered the Modern Dodge R2 for the same reason. I love the teal color. And also I get a chance to buy the M65-B, 165 R2. I definitely chose the Midnight Teal. And I also entered the Metropolis R2 with the whole Midnight theme. Finally, you get a keyboard for that set. The best feeling of that. So for Bingsu, using the white arrow keys is a must-have. I also enter the stealth with the novelty. Yeah, I cannot imagine like you don't get novelty on that. I don't know why people will do that. That's must have for sure. Okay, home and page up, page down. I'm not a right column user anyway, so any key works for me, as long as they match the right profile. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I went all in so far, I think it's the GMK Shui, just because I come from China, and that is the first keycaps that feature all Chinese symbol. So I find no reason not to join, and I find a good reason to join everything on that. Okay, this is GMK Bingsu, and with the Rama key on that. Yeah, let me see if I can just zoom in, also hide my chat for a bit. So this is basically what we end up having now. The Rama M65-B, the iced version polycarbonate with the GMK Bingsu on it. And you can see this is the bottom with the internal dampener. Actually, it's in a good weight because of the plate. It's pretty heavy. But in the meantime, GMK Bingsu, and also you can see all the plate materials pick out when you have the mute. And also you can see all the PVD reflection between the keycaps. So you can potentially see yourself. Yes, you can potentially see yourself if you just look at that directly. And especially the Rama keycaps. Just like so nice on this Bingsu, because all the accents were pretty much the black on white. Cool, so we got pretty good keyboard coming here, and we just need to have a sound typing test. And I just don't get my quad cable here. I think that's fine. And let's change some RGB effect, because right now it's just like the default testing ones. So let's see. Let me see if I can config on layers. Also, let me change all the keycaps into the right. Yeah, I need to change it to my like, because I'm going to test this keyboard for a little bit before I send back, so I can make sure everything works as expected for the next 2 days. Because sometimes I find whenever I try to make something work, and for a day or two it may have something happen, maybe like the loop were wearing off, so I need to add some loop to make it more stable. But yeah, let's see what's the Okay, let me change the lighting for a bit. So we want to have, oh, interesting. So it has totally different lighting control system than other ones. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll just stick onto that, and let me do a better focus. Dropping the mic. And do a typing test with that. A good keyboard deserves a good typing test. So this is the Rama M65-B built with ink black V2 switches looped with Krytox 205G0 on top of PVD brass plate, I believe. And GMK Bingsu with the Rama escape key. And typing test. Take 1. Yeah, I think still some rattle on the spacebar, which I probably need to add more loop here. Okay, where's my switch puller? Okay, I need to get my switch puller so I can do that. Hi. Hi Visionary, welcome back to my build stream. So I just finishing up on this keyboard and I hope have a good typing test, which I find maybe I need to add a little bit more loop. Wow, everything shining, huh? Very shiny. Okay, so let's add some more Krytox. Not Krytox, dielectric grease, because I added onto the stem. Well, I feel like I'm working in a nightclub or maybe a bar right now. Everything light up nicely. Yeah, I never had this kind of experience when like inserting loop. So shiny. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I worked with a RGB keyboard, because not many keyboard actually have the per key RGB nowadays. So this is pretty unique. Okay, I hope I didn't really loop too much on this one. I mean, if it is, then I can definitely try to get some loop out. Oh, I get 2 control key on one side. What a rookie mistake. Hope. Okay, better. Typing sound, take 2. And here's the Mozza. Okay, I think it's pretty nice sounding. And here's the Rama keycap sound. Okay, very metal. Yeah, it's like the metal on brass plate. Yeah, this is basically how the ink black V2 switches sound on a brass plate. Okay, my guinea pig is trying to drink some water and almost destroy her home. Cool, yeah, at least it looks super fancy. And if you don't have shine through keycaps, you probably only see a little bit on the RGB, but I don't think people will have shine through keycaps for this keyboard. So no matter what, this is pretty good. At least this is south facing RGB, so you don't end up having a good shine through keycaps anyway for this one. But yeah, let's see how that I don't know, like compared to other ones. Put a solid color, turn brightness on top. Yeah, definitely. I just don't know how to control that for now. Yeah, we will freak out. This is okay, fully off. Yeah, so fully off, it looks like a basic PC keyboard, which looks very nice. Yeah, I think the only thing I would say is the step keys are pretty good. And also, I don't think the spacebar sound rattle in any sense. It's probably more on like how hollow under the spacebar when it hit the plate, and plate is basically the brass. So potentially if you want to mute a little bit on the sound for the spacebar, because like anything hitting on the brass will generate a little bit high pitch sound. So if you want to do a good, I don't know, like sound dampening on the spacebar, you probably want to add some spacebar foam, which you can basically get at very cheap from like Divinity Key or maybe KVD Fans. But otherwise, I think the other steps key sounds actually pretty nice. And for the typing feeling, yeah, so if you get some spacebar form and you can put inside the spacebar itself, but you don't really need to like peel those foam stick parts out, so you don't really need to stick them. Like basically if you just try to insert them, it doesn't really fall out. So if you want to try on other keyboard without that foam, you can still take it out. Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal. If you really want to stick onto the spacebar, you can still put it out. Yeah, just put in, and it will basically like stick onto that without even the sticky one. And then you can try to make sure like you can change different sound signature for your spacebar. And sometimes if you like the spacebar with this sound, just leave it, because every time you type something, it's like music, right? So you don't really need to have everything the same. Yeah, the top row sound extremely like a hot swap, not hot swap, a gas monic problem. Yep. Yeah, always try to experiment on things that you can do. And yeah, soldering doesn't do much on the preference, or like lubing. I would say nowadays it's really Krytox 205G0 and light lube, heavy lube. Like it won't matter too much. So I think the most important part would be the sound dampening on the bottom. So with this one or without, or maybe change the internal weight, and also whether we can do spacebar form or not. So not a lot of things you can try And keycaps, yes, GMK or other keycaps. But overall, with this polycarbonate keyboard, all the keycaps will match well. So yeah, pretty good keyboard, I would say. It definitely worth the wait. And I still feel like if it's an integrated plate, it's probably still like very stiff. But just by typing on this one, even it's a brass plate. With the mute plate, I don't feel very stiff. Like you can definitely feel a little bit vibrant, not like a top mount, and really in a good way. Cool. Yeah, thank you for chiming into the stream and know what the keyboard, like how the keyboard is built and what you can try on later. Yeah, thank you for chiming. And it's about 2 hours. It's already 6:30. I probably have to go for dinner. And whenever you are, have a good day or good night. Bye.